All right, guys, welcome. I'm going to go over the Unit 3 functions test that you took on Friday before Thanksgiving. So first of all, there were 50 total questions on this test. Each question was worth 2 points, and you'll notice down here, or next to each question, there will be a number with a circle, and that tells you how many problems there were. And then it's broken down that says that what each problem and the point value that it has. So this says 1 point. It really means one problem. And then the explanation was another problem. So there's where you get your 2 there. And each one of those were 2 points apiece. So this question was actually worth 4 points total. So the very first one here says, tell whether the relationship is a proportional relationship. And so on this one, the answer is no. So that's worth 2 points. And the reason why it's not proportional is because it does not go through the origin. Question 2 through 4. This says here, write an equation to represent to express y in terms of x for each problem below. So the first thing that you try to do is you try to find k. So we do y divided by x. And we try to see if there's a constant rate there. So we have here, for example, 5 divided by 1. That's y divided by x, and you get 5. But this is 7 divided by 2, which is 3 1/2. So we can already stop there. This is not going to be proportional. So that's why we have here that is no pro or non-proportional. And so that means it must be y equals mx plus b. So what we do now is we look for a pattern on the independent and the dependent variables. So the pattern on the top is it increases by 1, and on the bottom, on the y, the pattern is that it increases by 2. So we're going to do y, the pattern for y, divided by the pattern for x. And so that gets us our 2 right here. And then when x is 0 and y is non-zero, that is the y-intercept. So that's b. So that 3 belongs here. So we have y equals 2x plus 3. And our constant rate of change is the number that is the unit rate that is attached to x. And in this case, it's going to be 2. So each one of these is worth 2 points apiece. And just to test it out, we could plug, for example, take the 2 for x, plug it in here, and you get 2 times 2, which is 4, and 4 plus 3 is 7, and so y is 7. We do the same thing down on 5 through 7. We try to find a k, and we first do y divided by x, so 1 over 5, 1/5. Then we have 2 divided by 10, which is 1/5. 3 divided by 15 is 1/5, and 4 divided by 20 is 1/5. So this actually does have a k, so therefore it is proportional, and it's going to be y equals kx, and in this case, the k is going to be 1/5, so we replace k with 1/5, so y equals 1/5 x. You could also have y equals 0.2x. Now, each one of these is your k, that's going to be your constant rate of change, so either 1/5 or 2/10 is going to be right here, 1/5 or 2/10. For question 8, we want to find out which one of these is the better buy. So for each one of those, we need to take the money and we need to divide it by the pounds. So we're going to do $32.50 divided by 2.5. We get right at $13 per pound of candy. And then for company B, we take 35 and we divide it by 2 3/4. And when I do 35 divided by 2 3/4, I get $12.73. So company B is the cheaper one. And that's your explanation because it's cheaper. It's 27 cents per pound cheaper. So that was actually 4 problems there. 2 points for company A's unit price, 2 points for company B's, 2 points for identifying which company was the better buy, and then 2 points for explanation. So that was a total of 8 points right there. All right, on this page, the back of the first page, it says the table gives the amount of water in a water tank as it's being filled. And so 10 minutes, 50 gallons, another 10 minutes go by, another 50 gallons, and so on. So we try to figure out, or the question says, what does the unit rate represent? So the unit rate is going to be k if there is one. And so we do y divided by x, we do 50 divided by 10, and we get 5. 100 divided by 20 is also 5, and so forth all the way down. So we do get that k is 5. So we know it's proportional. We know that it's going to be y is equal to 5x. Well, what exactly does the 5 mean? And I just said here that the unit rate represents 5 gallons per minute. So for every minute the tank is being filled, with 5 gallons of water. And that was worth 2 points. That was one question, so that was worth 2. Next up, we got computer repair charges. So in 2 hours, the Best Buy, for example, the computer replace is going to charge you $160 for 5 hours, $400 for 7 hours. They're going to charge you $560. So we try to find, once again, a K. And, well, first of all, the question says the student has a coupon to save $25 on computer repair. How much would she pay for a repair that takes 3 hours? So we need to find out how much it is per hour. So in order to do that, we got to find K. So we're going to do y divided by x all the way down. 160 divided by 2, 400 divided by 5, and 560 divided by 7. And every time we do that, we get a rate of change of 80. So it is proportional. K is going to be the unit rate. So basically it is $80 per hour. So 80 times 3, it is $240. But you got to subtract your coupon. So you subtract the 25 right here, and you wind up with 215. So that was worth 2 different problems there, the setup along with the answer. So 2 points for the setup, 2 points for the answer, for a total of 4 points. 11 through, I think, 12 here. Make sure. Yeah, 11 through 12. All right, so here we go. Let me make it a little bit smaller. All right. The equation y equals 0.50x, or 50 cents, times x plus 2 represents the total cost of doing x loads of laundry at a laundromat, but including buying a box of detergent. So this $2 is going to be the box of detergent. This 50 cents is going to be per load of laundry that you have to wash. So we make a table to represent the relationship between the number of loads and the total cost. Well, the cost depends upon the loads. How much you have to pay for overall pay for your laundry depends on how many loads of laundry you're going to have. So I plugged in a couple numbers. You could have gone 0 through 3. If you go any more than 3, then let's see. Well, no, I guess you could have done more than 3. It would have still stayed on the graph. So anyway, I did 0 loads. I plugged 0 into the equation. I get 2. That means if I do 0 loads of laundry, that $2 represents the cost of the detergent. If I do 1 load of laundry and I plug it into the equation, that's 1 times 50 cents, which is 50 cents, plus the $2 for the detergent. That gets me $2.50. 2 loads would cost a total of $3, and 3 loads would cost $3.50. So that was worth 2 points, making that table. And then I'm just supposed to take these points that you have and plot them. So there could have been some variation here, but it also says don't forget to label your graph. So one problem was the labels, which was worth 2 points, and then one problem was plotting the correct data. Now, if you got this wrong up here, but you plotted those points up here down on the graph correctly, I did not mark that wrong, so I did not double count you. So this is another 2 points right here. And so that's for question 12. On question 13 and 14, we have a scenario here. It says that Tony paid a $50 initial fee to 24 Hour Fitness. He also pays a monthly payment of $12.50. Blair, on the other hand, pays $15 a month at LA Fitness. After 1 year, who paid more to be a member of their gym, and by how much? So we need to figure out, we have Tony here, and Tony is going to be, an equation could be y equals $12.50 times x, meaning x is per month, plus the $50 initial charge. So when I plug in $12.50 times 12, I will get 150. Yes, plus 50 equals $200. So that means on 1 year, Tony pays $200. Now Blair, on the other hand, she's got y equals 15x because she's got no upfront charge. It's just $15 times 12, and 15 times 12 is 180. And so who paid more? Well, Tony did, and you take the difference between 200 and 180, and it's $20. So that's 2 points for this answer and 2 points for this answer. Next question, question 15. The ABC mowing service can mow a yard measuring 160 square feet in 45 minutes. How many square feet can they mow each hour? So if we know that they can do 160 feet in 45 minutes. The question is how many in 60 minutes. So the way I solved it was I did 160 divided by 3/4. So that 3/4 is 3/4 of an hour. So this is a rate, and I'm going to get it into a unit rate. So when I do 160 divided by 3/4, I flip it and do 160 over 1 times 4 over 3. So I get 640 over 3. And then when I do 640 divided by 3, I get 213 in a repeating decimal, or 213 and 1/3 feet squared. And so that was worth 2 points right there. On this, you were supposed to plot the points. So I first was supposed to take these 6 ordered pairs and plot them and label them. Some of you missed a point on each one because you did not label. So each one of these was worth 2 points. 1 point for, I guess it was 6 problems at 2 points apiece. So this is a total of 12. 1 point was for the label, and 1 point was for actually plotting it correctly. So you can see where they belong. And then you were supposed to, after you plotted them, you're supposed to tell me which quadrant or area of the graph they were in. Now, a few people missed number 17, 19, 20, and 21 because you said none. But we spent plenty of time saying that, well, no, 0, -4. So if I have 0 and I go down to -4, for example, for B, which is 17, it says the quadrant. Well, you're right, it's not in the quadrant, but the area of the graph it's on, the coordinate plane, it's on the y-axis. So you had to have y-axis, x-axis, and origin listed. And each one of these was worth 2 points. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. This was worth 12. That's a total of 24 points right here. For 22 and 23, all we were doing here is either filling in the table based on this K, or over here we were going to try to find what K was and the pattern and then fill it in here. So K is 3.4, so we know the formula for a proportional linear relationship is y equals kx. So basically, wherever k is, I plug in 3.4, and then I just substitute all these x's here, 0, 5, 8, 10, and 11. I just substitute them in here. So I would do 0, or y equals 3.4 times 0, then y equals 3.4 times 5, and so on. So you can see the answers here. Each one of those was a problem, and each one was worth 2 points. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right over here, we have to kind of work backwards. We've got to find k, so we have to do y, k equals y divided by x. So I got to do 12 divided by 4, which is 3, and 24 divided by 8, which is 3. So that lets me know that I do have the same rate of change, so that means that k is 3. So now I have y equals 3x. And so just like over here on this one, I'm just going to plug 0, 1, and 6 in for x. And once I do it, I get these numbers here. So this was 4 problems, and they were 2, 4, 6. That's 8 points right there. And the number that I have down in the corner should represent the total number of points on that page. Maybe that's problems. Let me see. Back that up some. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and 12 is 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, so that's the number of problems. But if you multiply that times 2, this page gave you 48 points. Yes. And on to our last page. So we have Norwegian Cruise Line, their Wi-Fi charges. So for 15 minutes of Wi-Fi, they charge $15.75. For 30 minutes, they charge $16.50, and so on. So the first thing that we want to find out is this a proportional and non-proportional relationship? So I do y, which is cost, divided by x, which is the minutes, because I'm going to try to find k first. So when I do 15.75 divided by 15, I know I'm going to get 1 point for, what is that, $1.50, $1.50. When I do 1650 divided by 30, I'm not getting the same. So therefore, I know this is not proportional. Okay, so I can write non-proportional. but now I got to give you the y. So now I have to find the pattern. So the pattern is that the x increases by 15 and the y increases by 75 cents. So now I can go backwards. I can subtract 15 from the top and get 0, and subtract 75 cents from the cost and get 15. So for 0 minutes, it's 15 bucks. So that's kind of like an initial setup fee. So I said that it's non-proportional because, one, you have no k, or there is no 0, 0. Like through the origin, it's 0, 15. So 25 says, is there an initial charge? Well, yes, there's an initial charge because for 0 minutes, you get $15. So that's 25. 26 says, what's the cost per minute? So to get the cost per minute, you have to do the pattern y divided by the pattern x. And when you do 75 cents divided by 15, you get 5 cents. So it's 5 cents per minute. I'm going to take this 5 cents per minute and this $15 initial charge. I'm going to plug it into y equals mx plus b. The m is your unit rate, so I substitute 5 cents for m, and the b is the y-intercept when x is 0. So that's the $15 there. So it's y equals 5 cents times x plus 15. And then on 28, it says, if you're going to use the Wi-Fi for 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is 130 minutes, what's it going to be? What's your charge? So you plug in 130 into x. So you do 130 times 5 cents. You then add 15 to it, and you get $21.50. And each one of these is a problem, so each one of these is worth 2 points. 29 and 30. So 29, we have Mr. McCarr's soccer team is having a car wash to raise money for new uniforms. C stands for how many cars are washed, and M stands for how much money they raised. Well, how much money they make depends on how many cars they wash. So the independent variable is going to be C, or cars washed, and the money raised, or M, is going to be the dependent variable. And then the last question here is, a go-kart can travel at 4.5 miles per hour. Which ordered pair is not on the graph of this relationship? So if it can go 4.5 miles per hour, then that's going to be y equals kx. So y equals 4.5x. So if you plug 0 in, like on B here, if you plug 0, your result is not going to be 4.5. It's going to be 0, because any number times 0 is going to be 0. So 0 for x would be the result of 0 for y. So that's why B is the right answer. A, C, and D, when you plug in 2, 1, and 3, you do get their y's, but not on B. I do hope that this has helped. And if you need to go back, you can always pause it and rewatch it. Thank you.